Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel Our Kitchen. I come from Norway and I'm gonna show you how to cook some delicious foods from Norway and also some international food. Today we're gonna make some delicious buns and I'm gonna take you through how we make them. If you like my channel, you might also subscribe and please share with all of your friends. Thanks a lot. So you have to start by measure up what you need, and I've started with white flour. You need 1 kilo, and also you need 200 grams of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 3 teaspoons of cardamom, and 50 grams of yeast, 1 whole egg. You also need raisins. I've soaked them in water and they have to stay here for about 1 hour. So while we put the dough to rest, the raisins also need to rest. You also need 150 grams of melted butter and 4.5 deciliter of milk. So we have to start by melting the butter and add the milk to about 37 degrees. So now I've put 150 grams of butter into this casserole, so it's gonna melt and it takes about a couple of minutes, and when it has melted we're gonna pour the milk into and then warm it to about 37 or 40 degrees. So now the butter has melted. I'm gonna pour the milk into and warm it, like I told you, up to 37 or 40 degrees. So now we're gonna put everything into the bowl with flour, sugar, yeast, baking powder, cardamom, and we're gonna stir it. Just gonna get me a tablespoon and mix it. Like this. So when everything comes to a good mixture, then we can put the buttermilk and the egg into it. However, I've taken away the water from the raisins. They have to wait until after the dough has rested for 1 hour. So the raisins, just put them aside. Like this. Now we're gonna stir the buttermilk. It's about 37 or 40 degrees. Just put it into the mixture. Then add the egg. And then you can just use your hand and mix it all together to a nice and smooth dough. So now I put the dough on the table and you have to work it really good for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes with your hands, so it get a lot of air inside the dough, so it will double its size when it has rested for an hour. Okay, so now I've worked the dough. It's really nice and smooth, as you can see. It's very nice. So now I'm just gonna put it back into the bowl and make some holes with my fingers, and then add some white flour and put to rest for about 1 hour, cover with plastic. Okay, so now the dough has rested for 1.5 hours. I checked it after 1 hour, but I wasn't really satisfied, so it has to rest for another 30 minutes. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna work the dough so much, just a little bit like this, and then put it aside. And then we're gonna take all the raisins. They are moist. It's very important that you put the raisins in water before you use them, because if they are dry, then the raisins are gonna steal all the moisture from the dough, and your buns are gonna be hard and dry. So just put the moist raisins like this. Put the moist raisins on the bench, and then you just roll the dough like this, and make sure all of the raisins are going inside the dough. So you have to work it, and don't use any flour to get the dough dry. You need the moisture. Okay, so now I've worked the raisins well into the dough, as you can see, and now we're gonna make just some round buns. You just work them like this in your hand, and make sure that the raisins get inside so they don't pop out while you're cooking them in the oven. So like this, and if you want to, you can use a little bit of flour on your hand, and it comes a little bit easier, but not too much, then the buns will get dry. So like this, and you make it like this with each and every one of them. You need to have 20 of them. Each one of them are 100 grams, so 20 of them. Put them on a baking plate with baking paper underneath. Okay, so now I've placed the raisin buns on the baking paper on the plate. Now I'm gonna cover them with egg yolk like this, and they have to wait here for maybe 10 or 5 minutes after I'm done, then put them to the oven. So now I've put the raisin buns into the oven. They have to be here at 190 degrees for about 15 minutes. You have to check so they don't get burned. So the raisin buns are now finished. When you put them on the baking paper, you have to put 5 of them this way and 4 this way, so that they grow together. 20 like this. So the raisin buns are now finished. I'm gonna tear it apart. Very nice. I'm gonna smell it. Very moist, full of raisins. Now I'm gonna have a taste. So delicious. So delicious. So if you wanna try out these buns, you can subscribe on my channel, and also in the right corner we have an icon or logo. You can just press it and then subscribe on my channel. And also please share with all of your friends. You're welcome, and have a nice evening.